Hey, I think I'm live. Let's see. It's a really bad idea, boys and girls. I'm not awake yet. Been sleeping late lately for some reason. Crawling out of bed. Waiting for YouTube. Yep, we're on. Okay, anyway, let's see what happened last night. So Jordan and Nephilim Free did a debate on Standing's channel, and there was an after show on David Neff's channel. Prior to that, we did a little hangout on quantum mechanics, where Immutable impressed the hell out of us doing some integral calculus on quantum mechanics, and I'll try to link that in the description. But I was listening to David Neff's after show, and there was a guy on there named Matt Nye and a guy named Joaquim, and they were having a conversation about a personal relationship with Jesus and with God. And this is a topic that I have been very, very interested in for a long time. I've listened to people call into atheist experience, and when they mention this personal relationship with God, they the atheist host usually blows them off and never asks any more questions about it. Well, I'm really interested in what they mean by that, and I think everybody kind of seems to know what they mean by that, but nobody ever really asks them to dig down into the subjectivity of it. But anyway, so I want to play a little clip here before. I don't know if anybody's going to be joining me today. It is kind of early for a weather report, but let me play a little bit of this.
Of your belief in Jesus, why? Like, if there was one thing that I could knock over and you wouldn't be a Christian anymore, what is that one thing?
Nothing, because my Christianity is a personal relationship. It's just as real as any relationship that you have. I mean,
wait. It is like, yeah. I can go talk to knock on my girlfriend's door. I see my girlfriend's face. I look her in the eyes. I talk to her. I have a real personal relationship. Do you look Jesus in the face and talk to him? Like, you see his lips move when he talks? Is it just as real as your relationship? Is my relationship with my girlfriend?
I don't see him personally, no. But
so it's not.
So anyway, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what he's talking about. Let's see where else did we go with this.
It's a central thing to your Christianity.
I guess the best way I can describe it is it's a personal relationship, not a physical relationship. I don't know if that makes sense.
So you don't hear his voice like in the same way I hear my girlfriend's voice when I talk to her.
I'm not saying God can't do that, but I have never heard an audible voice.
So wait, hey, look, if God were to say, I'm done with Matt, I'm sick of Matt, I don't want to talk to Matt anymore, like poof, I'm disappearing from Matt's life. Would you recognize, like, how would you know that God
felt like I had this personal relationship with a deity who spoke to me, not in actual words, but like I felt his presence?
Okay, Jordan's an atheist, and he's talking about what it was like, this feeling his presence.
Now, I don't currently think that those feelings reflected a reality, but I definitely understand where a Christian like Matt is coming from. And like having that immediacy experience, and I think it's important that we don't discount that and just say, well, that's definitely nonsense, because I mean, personal experience is persuasive.
Well, to me, I think to myself, well, I've heard this.
Okay, so there is some personal experience that they're talking about, and is it real? Is this personal experience real? Well, when you have an experience, all experiences are real, whether they're, and hallucination is a real experience. It really happened. So there's something that people are talking about. And this kind of ties into something called perennial philosophy, which is the idea that there are these experiences, this experiential base that is at the core of all religions. And basically this religious tendency of human beings is based on that. Hi, John. It's John, and there's somebody else. Oh, my God. Okay, so guys, I'm trying to get through this one little piece here.
Yeah, I wanted to also add on what you were saying, but go ahead, finish your piece.
Oh, go ahead, please add.
No, as I came in, you were talking about how hallucinations or real experiences, and I've always found it interesting. Okay, how does the universe produce something that's not really there, but it is there? Because I can hallucinate a horse, in the corner talking to me. I mean, I know the horse doesn't exist, but
Right.
for some fucking reason, I'm experiencing a horse.
Yeah. And
What the hell, universe?
Well, no, it's
the
like,
horse
no,
is talking to you right now.
yeah,
There
right.
you go. See, I had you in mind when I said that.
But the thing is, like, what you're missing is that you're saying, how does the universe create? It's not the universe; it's your mind.
Yeah, I know, but the
Yeah.
mind is part of the universe, John. That's why you missed.
Okay, the mind is in the universe. It's not necessarily part of the universe. I mean,
Speed. Never mind. Go on. We're getting in semantics.
Okay, but it is the mind. I mean, the mind is what.
Yeah, I know.
produces
I know.
And I've had all kinds of hallucinations on not just the standard recreational drugs, but I've had them on really strange psychotropic drugs where they have been very as real as hallucinations get, and they're still not as real as experience. Anyway, we can talk about that a little bit. But
I'll tell you that the first time I had a hallucination, it was the first time I ever dropped acid. It was like around 1985. I was in my early 20s, and some buddies of mine had, oh, well, you smoke weed, you'll love this, and then so they gave me a hit, and I took it, and like about a half hour later or 45 minutes later, I was like, you guys just gave me a little piece of paper. What is that? That ain't shit,
Yeah.
And then like about 10 minutes later, it was like, okay, and then when I started hallucinating things, like later on that night when we went to leave, we were like hiking in a creek and that, which was an experience while you're tripping. And then when we went to get in my car to leave, the inside of my car like looked like a video game,
Yeah.
And then when we got to my house, I was taking my wet sneakers and socks off, and I looked down, and my toes are mutating into different shapes and shit. We had like 100-foot long like phone cord, so we could take the phone in any room in the apartment, and that was snaking along the floor like it was a live snake. and I look up to my buddies. I said, "Holy fuck! Okay, I'm still with it enough to know that that's not really happening, but I'm seeing it anyway." Like, so my experience with hallucinations, like I didn't buy into it. I realized that what I was seeing couldn't have really been happening.
Yeah. Oh, I'll talk a little bit more about that later. LSD is something that I kind of specialized in, but
I always wanted to try LSD. If for the scientific applications, not for, people always take LSD because they want to trip. Me, I'm like, yeah, okay. How am I feeling right now? Let's write a notebook about it.
Yeah, be sure that you talk to Uncle Speed before you try that. So
I'll be sure to do that, Speed. Don't worry. I don't want to take too much. I don't want to take too little.
All right. Okay. Anyway, so here's where I came into the conversation, and I came in to ask this Matt and I some questions. And David, before you change the topic, could I ask Matt a question?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay, Matt. How would you subjectively describe this personal relationship with God? What does it feel like, or could you give me like an instance, like a real situation, and how does it feel? How would you describe it subjectively?
Well, I guess it would take a while to explain, to actually go through. The best way I can sum it up is that my experience lines up with what the Bible says. For example, I'll just give you an example. So, Jesus says, "My peace I give to you, my peace I leave with you." And my life, as foolish as it might sound to you, my life has been filled with peace since I came to Christ. So that's just one example. As I said before, I used to be an atheist. my life is drastically different since coming to faith in Christ. And I know personally the change that's happened in my life. That's the best I can give you. I mean, because I don't think my experience has been with atheists is that if I try to elaborate further, it seems like it doesn't matter what I say, that the answer won't be satisfied.
Okay. So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right here, he said basically, he talked about peace or this feeling of peace when he accepted Jesus. You know, he had this born again experience, right? Which is something we've heard about a lot. And then he goes ahead and he says, well, atheists are never going to be satisfied. And this Joachim on the right actually verifies that by discounting everything he said. But I'm interested in a little bit more than that. But go ahead, John.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say is like he says, but if I elaborate further, it's like, what do you mean elaborate further? You really haven't elaborated at all.
At all, right.
Like, you know, like Speed asked you, could you describe your personal relationship with Jesus that you claim you have? And
Right.
he didn't do any of that. What he described is just how he feels and how, you know, he feels like his life is better. And instead of giving himself credit for that, for changing his outlook,
Right.
he is saying that it's because of my relationship with Jesus. And you're asking him, well, please explain that relationship. And he doesn't do that. And then he claims that, well, you know, atheists aren't going to understand it anyway.
Yeah, he says it's my fault, basically, or, you know, because I'm an atheist or whatever. So, and then let's see, where did we go from there?
To your expectation.
Okay. Faith, trust, and peace resonates with me, and I can understand that. And I call it spirituality. Okay, so now I'm trying to make a connection with him. I'm trying to connect how he feels with how I feel, and we'll see where it goes here. I am an atheist, but there's a sense of he looks like he's in pain, trust in life and the universe that sort of puts me at peace, and I tend to live my life more rightly or properly when that happens. Does that sound like what you're talking about? It's trust or faith? Okay. Here it is, I think.
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Okay, like well, if you have a situation that is upsetting, you can always basically turn it over and have this trust or faith or acceptance. And they're feeling words, so it's kind of hard.
Speed of sound. You know, I really appreciate your love of trust. And I want to ask you, will you please trust me? Because I have this beautiful piece of property that I really...
Okay, so there he is discounting the feeling and discounting it in me, an atheist, right? As well as discounting the feeling in Matt and I. And so he got booted out of here basically because he wasn't quite having a conversation. He's asking me if I want to buy a swampland in Florida, and I ask him if there are alligators on it, because I'm not going to fucking buy it unless there are alligators. So anyway, so he's kind of making fun of the idea of faith and spirituality, and a lot of atheists hate spiritual atheists, which, you know, I identify with. So, but anyway, there is just a little bit more.
You really need to unload.
Yes.
And I'll sell it to you so cheap.
All right, hold on.
You and I know the value.
Okay, let me see here.
Hold on.
I think this.
I can't.
Here.
I'm not sure about your personal experience, but I know of atheists
I'm going to discount your personal experience. Is basically what he's setting up to say.
who talk very boldly that, you know, I have peace and such and such. But when they're faced with death, it's a totally different story. And I can tell you, I've been faced with death before.
Okay, so have I, motherfucker. So anyway, so there he is doing exactly what he said I was going to do to him. He starts discounting my feelings, right? I'm trying to build a bridge with the guy. And then he goes to this, and Sel kind of doubles down on it, but they always go to this, oh no, you can't possibly feel this because you're an atheist. So you can't, your feelings can't possibly be valid. My feelings, my true Jesus feelings, are the one and only spirituality. You get what I mean, guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that aren't religious, but they identify with spirituality. I'm not myself personally. I think that's hogwash. I mean, I think you can, you can. I mean, myself, I believe that you can change your mental state, and that you can like be like you described, where you're just more accepting of what happens, and you don't let it like irritate you and make you feel some kind of way about it. But I wouldn't call that spirituality. I mean, like with these religious people, when they, like somebody scores a touchdown, pointing up to Christ, or anything good happens in their life, it's because of Christ. They seemingly don't want to give themselves credit for, like you're an atheist. You use the program and you deal with your alcoholism, and it's you and the program that did that. It's not some genie in the sky.
Pride is bad, okay, John? Pride is bad. You should never take pride in anything you do. Give all your pride to God.
Well, actually, there's something there, but the whole thing with turning, these born again experiences and turning yourself over, it's sort of getting your ego out of the way, because our ego sometimes becomes a motherfucker that causes issues in our lives. And when people say, give me credit for having recovered from alcoholism and drug addiction, I kind of react against that, because it wasn't quite like that. The process of doing it was for me to say, okay, fuck me. Let me open myself up to what everybody else is going to tell me, right? So it's sort of getting the ego out of the way.
Yeah,
and
but it was still you. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a genie in the sky.
It's well, no.
Still you.
When you say it's me, you mean it's something inside my brain, inside my organism that did it.
I mean, I could see that, but for me, it's like, okay, well, if you think God helped you get over your addiction, then you know what I mean. Good for you. Like, I know what you're saying, John, but it's
no, God didn't fucking help me. What helped me is learning
how
to use my mind, right?
Yeah, no. I wasn't talking about you specifically. I was talking about in general, about other people, right? There's a lot of people who's like, oh well, I used to be a drug addict, this, and that, and then and then God came into my life and He helped me. I'm like, well, okay, you did that yourself, but
some people need that. But the thing is, okay, so they could be setting themselves up for failure. Okay, what if Speed had dealt with his addictions before he became a non-believer, and then he gave all credit to Christ, all credit to God, and then all of a sudden he became an atheist?
Right.
That could have had a very negative impact on him. He'd be like, oh, wait a minute, no, God didn't fit. Like, oh shit, who knows what could happen to somebody if they're going to give credit to God for things that they and the people around them have actually done. And then for some reason that faith gets shattered, it could have some pretty dire circumstances.
Well, suppose I had sobered up by building a big bonfire in my backyard and throwing sage on it and dancing around it, maybe naked, maybe not, depends, in a tutu, dancing around this fire, and that sobered me up. I gave my life and my will over to this fire and this sage, and this was my talisman. Or suppose I built a totem in my backyard, a Native American totem, and I gave that totem power over me, and I said, this totem is what's keeping me sober. And then some kids come and, like they did with the monolith, and wreck my totem, right? So now, so that's what you're saying, John. That is a danger. But here's the thing about humans. If we concentrate on something outside of ourselves, like there is a little exercise that you can do if you take LSD, where you take a rubber ball and you start squeezing it. And because of that bodily involvement with that ball, you will start to regress down right to a child, and you'll start to remember things. And it works because somehow we're biologically built to basically spark our memories by getting in touch with something through our hands. Interesting, right? Also, smells do that. They will take you back to certain periods or whatever. But it's the way our brain. So our brain is constructed so that we can focus on something outside of ourselves. Jesus, a totem, a bonfire, it doesn't fucking matter what it is.
You know, you talk about doing something with your hands and smelling certain smells. Like now you're bringing memory back to me, like when I was with this chick one time.
Right.
Epiphanous moment, because I was doing something with my fingers and there was like a certain smell.
Okay, he went there.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's what I bring to the table.
I know, that's why we love you. But the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't fucking matter what your talisman is, what your totem is, what your religion is, or, you know, what's outside of you, as long as you don't start making it dogmatic. Because then you sound like these two assholes who basically discounted everything about my spiritual experience because I don't have a dogma or a belief.
Yeah.
And yet they have the one true connection with God because they read the Bible.
And all I can envision when I listen to these two guys is that that one South Park episode where the smug cloud was on its way to the town, like everybody was going around being because they were driving Priuses and they'd smell their own farts and shit. Yeah. So, hey, look, I just popped in to say hey and kill a few minutes before it's time to go pick up my breakfast. So I'm going to bid you adieu. And
okay.
I guess I'll say goodbye to Midnight, too. Bye, Midnight.
I got to respond to this message. Just got a call.
Bye, John. Love you.
Anyway, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and it's a subject that really interests me. And what you have to convince these dogmatic Christians of is that this feeling of connection to the universe and to God is a skill you develop, and you don't fucking need all this dogma in order to get it. And they will continually discount an atheist who says that he has a spiritual connection with the universe because the atheist doesn't have any dogma associated with it, other than my brain did it. They call us psychological Buddhists, and they spit that out like it's an insult, you know, that our Buddhism isn't real because we're not connecting with the real God. We're just developing a skill of living. And, you know, over my entire life, I've developed this skill of living in that state of basically serenity, you know, and it's a fucking skill. I have a brain. I'm a biological organism. I learned how to use my mind, you know, to not fuck myself up. So that is it. And so I always try to find this bridge with them, like when they talk about their spirit stuff, but then they discount it immediately. And then when you talk to an atheist about it, they discount it too. Oh, you're talking about woo. No, I'm not talking about woo. I'm talking about fucking neurons. Okay, that's my rant. What do you think, Midnight? Speak to me.
What do I think? Buddhism is cool. I've looked into a little bit into it. It was definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's a skill. It's a skill set.
Yeah, the eighth way. What the hell was it? I'm forgetting. Like I need to refresh my memory on Buddhism, but I definitely find it interesting, and it's definitely a way to find enlightenment. Like the right way leads to right thinking, and then what was it? Right thinking, like the eightfold path.
Yeah, and I don't even know what the Eightfold Path is because Buddhist dogma interests me as little as Christian dogma does.
But I mean, it's not really dogma; it's the philosophy itself. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
They use psychological methods, and they do things. They actually do things to bring you to this feeling of peace. But a lot of it gets pretty. I mean, some of the Buddhist dogma is just painful to read. You know what I mean? Some of it, not all of it. I mean, there's some good stuff. But anyway, so that was why I jumped into that stream last night. And then I really don't like being on streams with 8 people because you never get a chance to have a real conversation. You end up going all over the fucking place, and you never really get time to have a conversation with somebody. So anyway, but I thought it was interesting. What else? Otangelo yesterday. Okay, he was talking about macro evidence. Did you catch that part? He was like, okay, you don't have any evidence of macro speciation. And you've heard that one, right? Where they accuse you.
No, that's I tuned on and off yesterday.
Yeah, well, you don't, but I mean, you've heard that before from creationists, where they'll say, "Oh, you don't have any evidence of macro evolution," and we tell them, "Well, the evidence for macro evolution is micro evolution," and I always want to ask them and get them to answer the question. These guys never answer fucking questions, but the question I want to ask them is, what would that evidence look like? What would we see that would convince you that something had macro evolved?
I mean, I don't think there's really a difference between macro and micro, right? It isn't for me, I always thought macro was about insects and micro, and no, the other way around. Micro was about insects and macro us. For some fucking reason.
Micro's about
no. Sorry, micro was about like cells and bacteria and all that, and macro was about us.
Yeah, well,
like species in general.
Micro is about like a change in one gene will create a different biochemical pathway, or something like that. And macro would be growing a new limb or turning an insect leg into a wing or something like that. But I'm wondering
the transitional forms, Speed.
I know
we need the transitional forms.
Well, the thing is, we've been watching insects very carefully under microscopes for about 200 years. They think there are They think there are 100 million species of animal or of organisms out there, and we've identified about 1.3 million, I think.
Nice.
So I mean, we're at like 1%, and not only that. Okay, in order to get evidence of macroevolution, we would have to say take a beetle population in some forest. We would have to watch it for about 500 years before we started to see, maybe just 100 years. But then we would start to see that one leg was getting longer, or the back legs were getting longer, and the front legs were getting shorter. And
what I found, let me start over. What I found interesting is that what I found interesting is that even having two flies, evolve right next to each other produces different, like, you know what I mean? And, it is. God damn it! It is amazing. It is amazing how how differently species evolved in the, even in the same ecosystem. Like, the environment is the same, but like what I'm trying to say is that you could have a species of fly in one area, and then like 10 feet in the other place, like 10 feet away, you could have another species of flies, and despite them literally being next to each other, they evolve differently.
Yeah.
They're in the same environment.
Well, the fruit fly, the Drosophila melanogaster, from up in Washington down to the southern tip of California, they can see differences in speciation from the northern tip to the southern tip, and there's like bands, and there's all kinds of intermediates, and they can see differences basically. But it's really fascinating. We know a lot about how melanogaster or fruit flies develop, and we found that the changes in morphology do not involve gene changes very often. They usually involve control regions. So like when you look at how an embryo develops, how an organism develops, it's all about space and time. It's all about spatio-temporal fields and development. And if you change the control region a little bit, you'll end up moving the limbs down a little bit or up a little bit, or making them longer, or giving muscles a little more leverage or less leverage. It's all these very small changes. And the thing is that what biology does is it finds a pathway where making a change from one morphology to another, every intermediate step is viable. And sometimes I think punctuated equilibrium, a very small change in a control region can create a very drastic change in morphology. And this is something fucking people don't seem to understand until they look at embryology and development. And then you can start to see how easy it is for an insect to grow another set of legs. I mean, it could happen very easily, or to turn a wing into a beetle's, what is it? There's a word for it, that little hard shell they get on their backs. I mean, all of this stuff, when they ask these questions, they never have the patience to listen to the fucking answer.
I don't want an answer.
Yeah, that irritates. Hi, Manny Karen. And hi, Jerry. And hi, Vesta. And I don't know who else is here.
Okay. I just want to ask, why does Erica have like a fucking monkey that's... I don't know. To me, that monkey looks afraid.
Oh, that's the gutsick gibbon. It's upset. That's Erica's. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
Erica's.
but why is it upset?
Because its tummy hurts.
I don't know.
She has a story. She has a story about how she got gutsick gibbon. When I first saw her channel name, I thought, come on, Erica, marketing. But holy fuck.
Well, no, I was more talking about the, her avatar. It's like the monkey is like, it's like blue or something, and then I don't know.
I think it's listing. Probably a creationist just said something really dumb behind the monkey, and the monkey said, "What?" Even a monkey can understand how dumb that is. So anyway, what else we got?
We have that Mad Ox or Mad Ox or.
How did you know? I have a list of things written down, and I just looked at Mad Ox. So, his new video. Did you watch it?
No. I've been trying to focus on, finishing the semester and then finally moving into my new apartment.
Yeah,
that's gonna happen by the end of the year. After Christmas.
So the Mad Ox has a new acronym, which he's been working on for a long time, and he's really proud of this acronym. And he came out with a video yesterday, and he had like zero content in that video. And he was talking. Oh, let me see if I can pull it up here. Where's the Mad Ox?
Be careful! He doesn't flag you for infringing on his content.
Oh, actually, fair use. This is covered. Okay, it's called Droid C. He's got a new thing called Droid C. And let's see if I can share the screen here. Chrome tab. Introducing Atheist Droid C. I think it's like a take on hepatitis C, but I don't know if you can spot that or not, or see it or not. But it's introducing Atheist Droid C, desperate rejection of intelligent design condition. Okay, that's where he came up to C. So he goes on.
Hold on. Okay, I don't know if you can make it better quality because I can't really. Okay, introducing atheistic droid C, desperate rejection of intelligent design condition.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can.
Oh, no, hey, hold on. Hey, Maddox, here's the thing. You don't need to add the C. You know what I mean? It is
I know.
You know what I mean? Just say droid condition.
Well, he wanted to make it like hepatitis C, I think.
That's not, does the C stand for condition in hepatitis C?
Yeah.
Or is that just the letter? Because I know there's hepatitis A, C, B. I'm getting a headache. Fuck you, Maddox.
You see his beard now? He's getting ready for Santa Claus. He's gonna dye it gray, I think. He's growing this big beard. He was talking about how, growing a beard, and I don't know. I guess I read a little into it. But some guys that grow a beard act like they did something, like I grew a beard, a real beard. It's like, I can grow a real beard. Well, who the fuck cares if you can grow fucking shit under your chin? I don't know. Anyway, better droids than roids. I'd like to hear Otangelo talk more about his Jesus belief. Hang on a second. About his Jesus beliefs, because those are pure comedy gold. Okay. Jerry. Yeah, Otangelo is, I don't know, I'm going to have another talk with him. I'm going to try again. I want to drill down on him on this macroevolution thing and see if he can tell me what would be evidence, what would convince you.
I'm honestly gonna go because I'm not interested in Matt talks or Matt.
Yeah.
Or
no, I'm gonna end this anyway. I have to make some phone calls, but tonight we're going to do a after show for Leo's debate the other night on consciousness, and that should be really interesting.
Like, yeah, I noticed. I got the notification, or I saw there was a lot. That was it. I was like, wait, 2 days from now? What the hell?
Yeah, I know they changed it for some reason. And what else am I doing? I'm doing I'm probably going to do a talk with Ginger Nation today. We're trying to set that up. And what else is going on? I don't know. I was on like 4 or 5 streams yesterday, and
it sounds like you're a busy man. So I'm gonna let you go.
I'll let you go. Let's see. We should. Let's go backstage. I just want to chat with you for a minute. So anyway, guys. Tonight. I think it's set up. It's on the channel. I think it's set up for 8:30 or 9:30 or 8 or 9 tonight. Many. And I think we're going to do it as Saturday night at the Atheist, because I think tomorrow I'm going to take a whole goddamn day off. Yep. Day of rest, Sunday. It's a religious thing. Anyway, go look at the site. It should be listed on there. I will try to link it. Old Testament. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to end this, guys. I will see you later. I just wanted to make a point about perennial philosophy, the feeling of personal connection with something, and say a little bit about evolution. But goodbye. We ending.